My routine. Over the years, I've often had people ask me what my routine is, and it just has to do with whatever I'm doing. The workouts. If I'm on like a specific workout program, what time I wake up, what time I go to sleep, what I'm eating. I get that one a lot. Just in general. And if you were anything like me and you wanted change, you're going to listen to whatever that person gives you, that insight. I think the biggest mistake I had made though was I was so ready for change because it was time, man. At one point, I was so tired of just being tired of who I was, and it was time. It's time. I got to change. And the biggest mistake that I had made was I would take on exactly what they were doing, not realizing that parts of that, right, was not my thing. It wasn't something that I was really interested in, but I won't change. I see that they're able to make it happen. I'm going to start doing that. And even though college, might not be a thing, I often tell my students we do these booking calls, they'll say, hey, I'm just trying to go to school and I don't know what I want to go to school for. And I'll have to stop it right there. Well, you're going to want to do something that you're interested in. And I know the way that the climate is and how things always don't go according to plans when it comes to going to college, and then everything has changed. I understand that. But you're going to want to have to find something that you're interested in order for it to stick. With saying that, you may never see me do a what I eat in a day video or anything like that. That's just not who I am, because I like what I like. You like what you like. And I urge people to find the healthier version of whatever it is that they like, because it'll stick. Prime example, I got these two right here. These are just two of the protein drinks that I get. The Fruity Pebbles Jump Off. And then I'll get, this is a Kool-Aid flavor. And the reason I get pre-made, ready to drink protein drinks is because I don't like the powders. It's not the taste. It's some awesome tasting protein powders out there. It's not the texture. It's just that it's inconvenient for me. I've had times to where I'm digging down to the bottom of the jump off. I'm trying to use a fork. I'm using my hand in order to get the scooper. I've dropped that scooper, and it don't really look like it's a lot of protein in the scooper until you drop it. And then I'm just like, man. So I just don't do it. So I go to Amazon and I pick the flavors that I like, and they'll come to the crib, maybe 2 cases of each every other week. Does it cost? Yeah, but I could be spending my money on other things. I told somebody the other day, he texted me, he said, man, you got that garage gym, man, that's just a lot to invest in. I said, true. But I used to drink and eat fast food to the point where I was spending about $250 every week. I don't do that no more. So I've invested in the gym. And that money that I would used to spend on like liquor and fast food, which I don't eat fast food like that, unless it's like a rare occasion on a Saturday for my refeed or my cheat day, I just buy my supplements and I get my protein and stuff like that. Think about that. But these are just things that I do. I'm an early bird. I'm not saying you got to get up early, take cold showers like I do, stretch. I'm just saying I'm an early bird because it gives me a buffer of time to get my bearings. I ain't the fastest, I ain't the smartest, I'm not the strongest, but if I get up early, it gives me an advantage on what I'm trying to do. I like to work out first thing in the morning because it sets the tone for my day. And before all the other stuff happens in the world can affect me, I'm able to get the workout in. I'm good, I'm done. I got a lot of injuries. So I wake up, I use my red light therapy, I do my stretches, I take my BCAAs, my glutamine, my L-carnitine, which is a natural fat burner, and my regular just amino acids, and my vitamins, vitamin A through K2. And then I'll take my cold shower, I'll come down here, and I'll do my circuit. That might not be your thing. Circuits for me have just always been better. I like that exhausted, gassed workout feeling, and I'm still doing like comfortable weight. I'll do 4 to 5 sets, 8 to 10 reps, never less than 8. I ain't got no business lifting it if I can't control it because I don't have a spotter in here. And that's just been my thing. And if I get that done first thing in the morning, when life happens, because life be lifing, and it always will, even when you're just going through the best of days, the tone for my day is already set. I've already released some endorphins. If I did have something going on from the previous day or the previous days before, I tend to feel a little bit better. My cardio alone will allow me to assess what's going on in the world and in my life, how I should react to it. And it helps me correct whatever it is that I may have done or what I might do. That's why I do it in the morning. I'm not trying to tell nobody they need to work out in the morning because everyone is different. Everyone's family dynamic is different. Everyone's just life in general is just different. And we make the mistake of coming on social media, wanting to do better, and then we're looking at somebody that's doing something that we might not be able to do. But we'll try it. It don't stick, and then we just gonna dog that process. So you gotta find out, or just my suggestion, find out what might work for you. Consumption is big with me, and I'm not just talking about food consumption. I just mean consumption in general. There's just a lot of things I just choose not to look at anymore because I know it will put me in some type of weird mood. You know what I'm saying? And I think now, at my age, I gotta do my best to try to preserve my peace and what I got going on mentally and emotionally. So if I know that I watch something and it's gonna cause me some type of emotion, I probably ain't gonna watch it. I'm in a time now to where I gotta watch the news. And I never used to be like that. My mindset when I was in the military, I'm gonna find out when I'm gonna deploy by watching the news. So I'm gonna go anyway. So I'm gonna go out here and run these streets before that. But I see stuff now. I'm a federal employee. I'm a veteran. There's a lot of stuff that's going on in the world that I have to pay attention to, but I got to remain neutral because it's just different sides, man. I never thought going to elementary school in Compton, high school in Long Beach, and just hanging out in South Central, I never thought that politics would be like Bloods and Crips, but it kind of is. So I got to remain neutral and I got to try to stay informed. Outside of the news, there's just certain things I don't look at. I don't look at reactionary videos like that. Not because they're not entertaining, and you could be a little nosy. You want to know what this person's doing, what type of drama's going on in the world. But I got to make sure that I consume the right stuff in order to keep me in the right mindset. So I don't care about what this person's reacting to. How does it impact my household? How does it impact my life? How does it impact what it is that I'm doing? I was watching the news during COVID because are all gyms closing? So consumption is very important for me. If you know me and you send me something, I'm probably gonna be like, nah, I'll text back, delete it. I don't need to see it, man. I know some people that probably got some problems with the fact that I'm off of social media right now because it's one of those things that's kind of like drinking. Like, what happened? I'll tell you what happened. Mentally, I had brain rot. It just wasn't beneficial for me. I'm not saying I'm never going to go back to Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, even LinkedIn, but I'm just saying at the current time, it's just so much stuff that's pushed out at you that I had to pull away from it. Hence why I'm on YouTube now, because I can watch longer form videos. I can turn on a garage gym review playlist and it'll just play, right? I've been watching these things with people just making donuts. I'm a donut guy. I don't eat them like that, but it's interesting to see. It's just something different. So my consumption has definitely changed. The eating part of the whole consumption aspect, right? I track everything that I eat. I can tell you from personal experience, speaking for myself, me staying in my lane, me eating the same things every day makes it easy for me to track. You might not want to eat the same thing every day. And I'm not trying to force people to eat the same thing every day. Right now, all over the interweb is do what I do because this is the only way and the other way is wrong because people want clicks and likes. I don't get clicks and likes like that. So I'm going to tell you, if you find something you like, rock with it. The only time that I found that me eating the same thing was a problem is when somebody else didn't like that. Then it becomes a problem. But if you get away from a lot of the noise and you focus in on what you're doing, man, I can eat the same thing every day just like I can watch the same TV shows all the time, man. I can sit and watch Family Guy over and over and over again. Law and Order SVU, Chicago PD. I can watch the same episodes. I know exactly what's going to happen, but I can watch it. It's the same with my food. How do I track what I'm eating? I either use ChatGPT, also call it ChatGPT, and I'll just log everything that I'm eating. I'll put a prompt in there. This is my daily intake for the day, calculate what it is, and then I'll put in what I burnt according to my watch. I have 3 of these watches. I keep them on at all times, and I keep my Hume Body Pod and my band on at all times. Now, Claude's a little better because Claude will pull from your watch. Now, my ChatGPT doesn't. Y'all's might. But Claude will pull from my Apple Watch Health app or whatever. So I'll put the same prompt in Claude. This is what I ate. You can either go to MyFitnessPal, connect that app, or you can do what you do, or I just already know what it is that I'm eating. I know that this protein right here has 30 grams of protein, 160 calories, and it's 2 carbs. I drink about 2 of those a day. On some days, like if I got some work stuff going on, maybe 3. Man, that 2 of these a day, that's 60 calories. That's 60 grams of protein, right? And then I'll eat like 2 bags of Legendary protein chips. Those have 20 grams of protein apiece. I'm already at 100. The rest is just gonna come from food. But I already know what it is that I'm eating. I'll put it in Claude or ChatGPT, and Claude will tell me what my deficit is. So right around the time when I'm about to go to sleep, I'll eat my last meal before. When me and my son are down here working out, I'll say, hey, after I work out, give me my deficit for the night. I'm about to go to bed. Claude will give me the deficit, and Claude will say, hey, sleep well. I track what I eat. Now, I can't tell you if that's going to work for you. I can tell you when I was at my leanest in 2014, I really didn't, but I was also on deployment, and I knew what I was eating every day. I was eating tuna pretty much every meal. I would not advise that because you can get mercury poisoning, but I knew I wasn't eating that much, because I was getting in enough calories, and I was very low carb, which is not recommended. That was just my thing, but I knew I was getting my body weight in protein because I had spent like $2,000 packing out a protein locker before I went on that deployment. If you see on the bottom there, I had bags of protein. I set that money aside because based off what I saw in my time in the military, it was hard to keep those numbers, to keep them macros in check based what they had on that child line. Personal experience, personal opinion. I wake up early. I do. Now, I've learned, because I've been waking up early for going on 19 years. I was big. I was about to go to Afghanistan, so I just got up early to just start walking. I was telling myself during that time, I ain't got time to work out. Somebody suggested it to me. And then I learned back then, as I said, recently, I'm in a better mood when I start working out. So I would get up, I would go for a walk. I was stationed in Norfolk, Virginia, and I lived in this apartment on a street called Tidewater, if you're familiar with that. That was like a street that ran all the way to Japan, right? But I would walk around. We had this lake at this apartment that I stayed in. Always felt better. Ended up going to Afghanistan, dropped 100 pounds. When I came back, if you know anything about San Diego, I used to live in a city called El Cajon, and then I would just start running around my apartment complex, right? They had like a little loop. I'm out there running with the meth heads, and I kept that up. Now, the thing about waking up early is, what a lot of people haven't figured out is, I go to bed early. I ain't got no business just being up hanging out. Now, when you ask people that, people be like, man, what time you wake up? And I'll tell them. They'll say, hey, man, well, what time you go to bed? Then I'll tell them, and they get offended. What time you go to bed? Well, I go to bed around 12. What you doing that late? I'm just up, man, hanging out, watching TV and stuff. I don't do that. I just go to bed. Well, how do you go to bed so early? Like this. I lay down and I close my eyes because that's what the working out does. The working out burns enough energy, but by the time it's time for me to lay it down at night, I'm out. And then I'll wake up early. So I get about 6.5 to 8 hours of sleep. Now, a lot of people say you got to get 8 to 10. I got a 2 herniated disc in my back. If I'm laying in that bed for anything longer than 8 hours, I'm going to lock up. I'm going to wake up like this. That's just me. It don't have to be you. I said before, for personal preference, I'm a little lower carb. At one point, I was just like keto for like 8 years. I don't do it for body composition. I do it because I get a lot of energy when I was at, a lower level of carbs. I do it because me personally, this is what we got to understand when it comes to everything related to somebody else's fitness, somebody else's anatomy, is we different. Some people can't even put on the same cologne and smell the same. So we gotta pull away from what we see on here and understand that we're different. And I just tend to have less inflammation. I just feel better. Do I have a flat muscular look? Yeah, I do. But Saturday, I tend to look buff because that's my refeed day. That's when I really don't track the carbs, and I get in them carbs, get the glycogen up, for that time period. So I'm not telling nobody they should do low carb. I'm not telling nobody they should do specific workouts. I'm not telling you what you should eat. I'm just telling you that's what I do. Part of my routine is, and it's a routine thing, is I do not allow people to peer pressure me. And the reason it's in the routine because it happens often. It's frequent. So it has to be in the routine. When I go to these events and things like that, you will always have people trying to offer you stuff that you know you don't eat. They know you don't eat it. Hopefully, there's somebody there that'll pick up on your vibe and be like, he don't eat that. He don't look like he eat donuts. But it is in my routine not to subdue to peer pressure. A lot of the cats I used to hang out with that still drink will still ask over all these years, I haven't drank since 2011, why I don't drink. You know why I don't drink. I'm not telling you should stop drinking, but nah, I don't drink. I don't eat like that. When I worked at San Diego State, Army ROTC recruiter, people would bring in stuff. It would be potlucks and stuff. I'm good. I'm okay. You got to say that a lot. It has to be routine to say no. And unfortunately, some of these people you're telling no are the people that you're hanging around all the time. Whether it's coworkers, friends, family, you got to understand that. It is in my routine not to let people peer pressure me into going back to an older version of myself that I've worked hard to remove myself from. And lastly, like the workout, just in detail, I've touched on it before, pause, but pretty much I get up, I do my stretches, I do all my stuff, I do circuits. They've always worked for me. Because I was always like pressed for time. Because I wake up so early, at one point in time, I was just like a single co-parent. My son was like 2 years old. And it was like every other week for custody. And I was a full-time student, and we had to be on the ship. Liberty expired. I mean, you got to be to work at this time. So if you work a 9 to 5, your liberty expire at 9. On certain ships, my liberty would expire at 6:30 a.m. So I would get up early. I would do like a run. I would do some schoolwork, and then I would have to get my son up. And then I would have to drive him all the way over to another base. If you're familiar with San Diego, I was stationed on 32nd Street. Then I would have to drive him over the bridge to Coronado because I didn't live where I live now by the Strand. This might sound foreign to you, but I'm just telling you in general. So that was just the routine. I would do the circuit. I would get the most bang for my buck. I would hit so many body parts in a little bit of time, and I was able to see the results that I wanted. I think that's what throws people off. If you're doing something and you see the result, the only thing that's going to stop you from doing whatever that is noise. Sometimes you will see the results that you want, but because most people aren't doing it, you might stop. And by you, I mean, that's what I used to do. Y'all might not do it. But I do the circuit. I do cardio afterwards. Now, people will say, man, should you do cardio before or after? I don't know. I used to do it before, and I saw my results. I used to do it after. I do it after now, and I see my results. I don't know what to tell you. You got to figure that out. Everybody now is somehow an expert, if we notice that. But it sucks to say it's the eye test. When it comes to fitness, I'm going to look at you. And I know there's a lot of noise going on right now. This person got to be on something. Some people just be lying. Some people saying they're doing certain things that they really not doing, and they possess a certain look because behind the scenes, they probably doing circuits. But that's what brings people in. You got to figure out what works for you. But yeah, I do the circuits. I do the cardio afterwards. Then I'm done. Later on in the day, I come down here on my treadmill and I'll do a walk. It'll be about an hour. Sometimes an hour and a half. It just depends on what I got going on. I'll get on there. I'll pop a movie on and I'll be playing words with friends while walking. So yeah, Monday through Friday, I'll do the lifting. I'll do cardio afterwards. I'll have some core stuff into my circuit, and then I'll do the walk sometime around the evening or late afternoon. Saturday and Sunday, I do 2 cardio days. You ain't got to do that. That's just what I do. I know, rest. Rest Saturday and Sunday. Rest Saturday. I just do that. And the reason I do that is because it's very therapeutic for me. I started running the stairs in 2000. What people don't know about the stairs is they suck, but at the same time, they're also lower impact. And when I was working at San Diego State, I was doing multiple roles while working on my doctorate. I got the family, and I just had a lot going on, and I needed to find a way to exhaust that. Running the stairs, I'm thinking about what the plan is. Did I do the paper? I wrote my whole dissertation in my head while running up and down them stairs. So yeah, Saturday morning, I run the stairs. Sunday morning, I run the stairs. And it sets me up for Monday. For me, I'm able to do the circuits that I do, like today is leg day, because I'm conditioned enough. And that is, like, the heart is the strongest muscle. I'm losing actual muscle as I get older. But I want to make sure that I'm not walking up a flight of stairs and I'm not just gassed. And I'm not saying running the stairs will prevent that. I'm just saying, because you don't have to do it to excess like I am, but that's just what I do. I always feel better. It's such a high afterwards. Running them stairs and then coming home, eating some breakfast, hopping in my cheap pop-up sauna. Man, it's the closest thing to weed outside of me not smoking weed again. I'm sorry.